Hey everybody, it's Dan O'Donnell from PositiveAtmosphere.com here. It is January 2nd, so happy 2011. And I just wanted to do a video because I realized that there's this story that I've told a lot of different people, and for some reason I've never done a video about it. And it's one of my favorite stories. It was inspiring to me when I saw this. So to set the scene, I'm on a little island in Thailand called Koh Phangan or Koh Phangan, depending on how you want to say it. It's just north of Koh Samui in the Gulf of Thailand. And it's one of my favorite places in the world, maybe my favorite. I just love hanging out there and relaxing and riding my motorcycle all around the island and having a good time. It's about 10 miles wide or so by maybe 7 miles the other way. So it's a pretty small island, but it's big enough that there's plenty to do. You know, you can go ride elephants around up in the jungle. You can go out on boat tours. You can go scuba diving. You can whatever. It's a great time, and it's real cheap, and it's just beautiful scenery, gorgeous sunny weather most of the time. So I was hooked, and I was back there probably on about maybe my third trip to the island. And I am standing outside a 7-Eleven one night, just kind of hanging out, and I hear these two guys talking, and they talked a lot like I do, which is rare. In Thailand, most people, if they're speaking English, they have an accent. They're either Australian or English, or they'll be Swedish or Norwegian, and you'll hear all these different languages and stuff. Not a whole lot of Americans. Anyway, these two guys sound a lot like me, and I said, "Excuse me, sorry to bug you, but where are you guys from?" And they said, "Oh, we're from the United States." And I said, "Yeah, I can tell, but where?" And they said, "We're from Coeur d'Alene." And I said, "Wow, I'm from Bellingham. I don't know, about 5 hours outside of Coeur d'Alene." So, of course, we end up chit-chatting and everything and hanging out that night and getting some dinner and stuff. But anyway, the next day we get together again, we're hanging out. It turns out one of the guys, unfortunately, found out his father had passed away suddenly, real unexpected. So he was heading out to go back to the States. And the guy that was staying behind, Chase, kind of had planned on having a travel buddy and suddenly didn't have one. So I said, "Hey, why don't you just come get a bungalow next to me? I'm staying in this awesome place." He was actually complaining that the frogs were too loud at the hotel he was staying at. There were so many frogs, he said he could hardly sleep. So those are the kind of problems you have on a tropical island in Thailand. Serious business, like loud frogs. So anyway, he gets a bungalow next to me and we're hanging out. And we're walking around down in the town, maybe, the next night or so. And he bumps into somebody he knows that I'd never met. And the guy's name's Daniel. He's this English guy. And so they start chit-chatting, and Chase says, "Hey, Daniel, did you get a job yet?" And he says, "No, I'm still looking, mate, blah, blah, blah. I've been here and there and just trying to find something." And they talk for just a minute or so and kind of introduce me, and then we walk off. And I said, "He's looking for a job here? What's his story?" And he said, "Yeah. Daniel just loves it here so much. He came for vacation. I guess he had a one-way ticket. And he didn't know exactly when he was going to leave. Anyway, turns out he liked it so much that he didn't want to leave. And he actually was past the point where he no longer had enough money for a ticket to go back home. And he was getting close to the point where he didn't have enough money for a place to stay or food to eat or anything like that. But he loved it so much, he just was gonna make it work. He was gonna stay. And he didn't know how, but he was doing it. And so he just went around and knocked on every door he could and was looking for a job, which I'm not sure really how tricky that is to do in Thailand if you're a foreigner. But anyway, we bumped into him a couple days later, and we're at about the same intersection, the two busiest streets in town, which is not saying much. It's basically a backpacker town where everybody walks around, and he's standing there in the middle of this intersection handing out flyers. And we walk up and say, "Hey, what are you doing? You got a job?" And he said, "Yeah. I got this job promoting this magic boat tour." So if you're not familiar with Thailand or what a magic boat tour is, it's basically this guy's job was to stand there and talk to people all night and tell them about, this great boat tour, the magic boat tour. And then the next day he'd go on this tour where people sample various herbs and fungi, and they go around this 10-mile wide island and stop at all these beautiful beaches that you can't get to by car, and just have a great time and try not to get sunburned. So this guy found that job, which is ridiculous to me. He goes to this tropical paradise, and not only does he find a job, but he's not doing he's not a waitress or a waiter or whatever. Not that that's a bad job, but he gets a job in the tourist industry going on a boat tour like several times a week. So that's the job Daniel found. He had the guts to stay there without knowing what exactly he was going to do, but he just knew what he wanted and he just followed his heart and said, I'm staying and I'll figure out the details. And to me, that was really inspiring because this guy had the guts to do that without having all the questions answered. And one of my favorite sayings is, you can't wait till all the lights are green to leave the house. And so I consider myself a fairly gutsy guy and willing to take some risk. But watching Daniel do that, kind of took it to another level to me. And when I really thought about it, though, I said, well, what's his worst case scenario? Really? I mean, he could run out of money totally, have $0 left, zero Thai baht left. He could be, in that case, sleeping on a beach, probably. A beautiful beach. I don't even think that would happen, though. Probably somebody like me or Chase would have let him stay in our bungalow. And, he would have had to mooch on somebody for food, but you can get meals over there for $1. So I just think that it was really interesting to watch a guy who knew exactly what he wanted and he was going after it no matter what. And he just hit a home run. He ended up with what sounded like one of the most fun jobs you could have, going on a boat tour with a bunch of people who are having a great time and they're on vacation. And anyway, so I just wanted to share that story with you. Maybe it applies to something you're dealing with right now. Maybe you're thinking you want to do something, but you don't know all the hows. And you can figure all that out. And I even believe that if you're that serious about doing something, that the people that you encounter are going to want to help you with that. And that you've got a better chance of somebody who's just, well, when things work out, I'll get around to it someday. So anyway, that's the story of Daniel and the Magic Boat Tour and staying past the point where you have any money to even get home. So hopefully that'll help you guys out. Check out positiveatmosphere.com. We've got all kinds of inspiring blogs, videos, great people that you can connect with all around the world, and hopefully some right down the road from you. Again, it's positiveatmosphere.com. Our mission is connecting positive people to inspire and empower. Happy 2011, everybody. Thank you.